I'm Robert Wilson. I'm the new executive director for the Apprenticeship Water Authority and the South Central Wastewater Authority. To give you a quick background on me, I have about 35 years in the utility industry. Of that, 17 years was at Chesterfield County. I worked in the utility department. I had 17 years there, 16 years in operations and maintenance. Also, I graduated from the TQI University with Mr. Ramsey. After that, I went to the Dinwiddie County Water Authority. I was the executive director there for 16 years, and then I came over to ARWA in South Central. I am born and raised in Chesterfield County, and I still live there. All right, we'll start on the potable water side. That's the Appomattox Water Authority. There are 5 participating members. That's Chesterfield, Dinwiddie, Prince George, City of Petersburg, and the City of Colonial Heights. Each jurisdiction has 1 member, 1 voting member. For Chesterfield, the primary member is Dr. Casey, and the alternate is Mr. Hayes in the back in the utility department. Air plant's located at 21300 Chesden Road. That's right there at the dam on Lake Chesden. Plant's rated at 96 million gallons per day. We take water from Lake Chesden. That's a 3,100 acre surface impoundment. That's between Chesterfield and Dinwiddie. The majority of our water actually comes in the drainage basin is Prince Edward and Amelia. Just to give you some statistics, we have a Virginia withdrawal protection permit. What we're allowed to withdraw is about 86 million gallons per day. Our maximum month is about 2.3 billion gallons, and our maximum annual is almost 18 billion. To date, our maximum day has been 59.8. Our max month has been about 1.4 billion gallons, and our maximum annual has been close to 13 billion gallons. Just to give you an idea how that breaks down, for FY21, we produced about 12.4 billion gallons. Of that, Chesterfield County bought about 76%. Our annual budget is close to 11 million, and the way that we break down what your annual cost is, we break it down in a cost per thousand, and we bill you quarterly. And for Chesterfield, that came out to about 7.48, almost 7.5 million for that year. Our upcoming challenges, we have to renew our Virginia Water Protection Permit. That comes up in 2028. That's a 2 to 3 year process. That's good for 15 years. Last time we did that, the evaluation studies are somewhere around $1 million to make that happen. The plant's rated at 96. Our raw water in Lake Chesden is less than that to support that, so we're going to have to look at a potential off-river storage. We had a discussion at one time of raising the dam, so that will probably be in part of the evaluation process of which is going to be the most economical way to do that. We've got to increase our transmission capabilities to make sure we can get the water to our members. Right now, that's an issue. Meeting future demands. Regulations are changing. What's going to be the upcoming issues for everybody is the lead and copper rule, PFAS and PFOS, and then maintaining a full reservoir level 365 days a year, making sure we balance water production and recreation. Since I've been there, we've been very fortunate with the timely rain events to keep overflowing the lake. And for everybody in the utility industry, especially on the production side, that includes Chesterfield too, is dealing with staffing. Air plants require Class 1 operators. We're 24/7, 365. Operations, we're shift work, and there's not a whole lot of backfill for that. All right, now we look at the South Central Wastewater Authority. That's the water reclamation side of it. We have the same 5 participating jurisdictions. You all have the same representation on my board of directors. Each member has 1 vote. Difference in South Central is each jurisdiction physically owns capacity in the plant. For Chesterfield County, that would be 10%. And the reason that's going to become important, your percent ownership in the plant dictates what you pay on a capital project. The current project that's of note for just about everybody Chesterfield also has 2 wastewater plants. Mr. Hayes has already got through this at his plants, but we have a nutrient project. The cost of that project is roughly $112 million. At 10%, Chesterfield County's portion would be $11.2 million. With the assistance of VAMWA, which is the Virginia Association of Municipal Wastewater Agencies, Mr. Hayes also sits on that as a board member. We had Chris Pomeroy with Aqualaw and Preston Bryant with McGuire Woods Consulting. South Central was successful in securing a grant in the amount of $82 million. So that means the local share dropped to $30 million as the project cost minus what the grant would be. In our current rates, I've highlighted here with Chesterfield, we have included in the rate in our almost $9 million budget what the annual debt service would be per each member. For Chesterfield, that's about $250,000, and we based that on all along. We thought the local share portion would be about $30 million over 20 years at 3%. So right now the rates are a whole lot better than that. We're looking at rates probably 1.4 to 1.5%. Similarly, what are the challenges for South Central? We've got to complete this nutrient project. We actually have a deadline of January 1st, 2026 legislatively that we have to be up and have reduced our nitrogen and phosphorus. Securing funding for the local share, we've applied for the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund, and then maintaining operations and meeting air limits while everybody's in there tearing the plant up. And with that, nice, brief, and quick. Is there any questions or comment? Be happy to address them for you.
If there was any questions or comments.
Mr. Chairman, just you had mentioned, Mr. Wilson, about staffing and how important that is. And I guess with just in light of our previous conversation with COVID, have you all had some issues in terms of people being out?
No, sir. We have been quite fortunate, and we did not change any of everybody worked each day. We had 1 or 2 scares where we had to take people out, and we also have a couple what we call floaters that we can pull off and rotate to whichever shift they're needed. But the main thing is through attrition, as people are retiring, there's not a lot of people that want to do that anymore.
So that brings me to my next question,
That's what I want.
which is we have 2 tech centers in the county, and I'm wondering if there's even a program for these folks coming up, because I'm sure you all could use that. If you have folks in high school, I assume if you have folks that are interested in learning about it, you'd like them to be trained up in some form or fashion.
Yes, sir. On the operation side, all it requires is a GED, and it takes about 3 years to get your Class 1 license if you really buckle down, go through the process, get your time and so forth. So in about 3 years out of high school, you could be in the 50s.
You know, this seems like a good, Mr. Chairman and Ms. Haley, a good opportunity for schools and the county to see if we can assist in creating this pipeline a little more formally and helping you get some more personnel, because water is the future, and those who have it are going to be making the rules, and those who don't, well, they're going to be struggling. So we want to help and be a help that way, I think.
We are quite fortunate on the East Coast having access to it. We would certainly be happy to come in to talk to any science or people that really like math, that just don't want to go to college, that have an interest in the water industry. We talked at one time, could we have some kind of a apprenticeship program? We're working through that with their insurance company because they really want you to be 21. But we're still looking at the opportunities for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, exactly. I mean, with the labor shortage that exists today, it seems like, the answer is going to have to be that we start to create our own pipeline. Back to Mr. Winslow's comments, I mean, I think that, and the opportunity that exists with our ongoing conversations with schools about their tech schools and the advancement of their tech programs, it just seems like this opportunity, and there may be others as well, that we need to create that partnership now. Because I think that the conversation across the country about, just labor shortages and how folks are looking through different glasses and not even recognizing probably that opportunities like this exist. You know, it's not like a, you know, everybody's talking about, well, here's a path you can go down. So I think that is something we should pursue. Thank you. Very interesting. And you know, I think our folks need to understand how very fortunate we are in Chesterfield to have all these water sources and to have the authorities that exist and manage these programs so well. Our utilities department is just outstanding.
What we try to tell both air staffs, hopefully we get the opportunity to make presentations once in a while, but hopefully you never hear from us and you never call us because it's there for you. Really.
Excellent.
Mr. Chair?
Excellent. Thank you both very much.
Mr. Chair?
Excellent point. Dr. Casey, we appreciate your serving, and of course, George, we appreciate your serving on this authority. And one thing I think has been evident, clearly evident here, is that we need to have that connection with CTE, Career and Technical Education Director, and make sure that the information gets out about future opportunities that some people just may not know about. I certainly didn't realize it as well. So there's a way to make that connection, and I think Dr. Casey is critical in working with you to bring that to fruition. Thank you.
Mr.
Dr.
Chair?
Casey. Yes, Mr. Carroll.
I have a question in reference to the raising of the dam. I know that there was money set aside in the General Assembly years ago. What is the status of that? And if we're going to raise the dam, I think they had talked about 18 inches. Is that going to require going through the process with the General Assembly again from start to finish?
All right, I'll try to answer that two ways. The grant that Mr. Cox brought forward in the General Assembly, that has been released. When we looked at releasing that, one of the requirements was I have to provide a report back to Dr. Casey. We have to do that every 5 years, where we are on what we're withdrawing on the raw water side, and then production side. The intent there is to make sure whatever necessary improvements to increase the raw water supply are done prior to it all of a sudden have to be done in an emergency. But the first part was, yes, that grant has been released. There was some more investigation done on that. We've got some more homework if we look at raising the dam of how that affects the different deeds around the lake, but that has only been taken off the table for right now because we're able to meet what the requirements are.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Thank you. Mr. Carroll, is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Dr. Casey.
One, I just want to echo other people's comments. It's great that you're here, and again, we may try and work this out as a periodic update because, again, the resource you provide, and really by default the amenity of Lake Chesson itself. We think of it as the water source because that's what it was created for, but the byproduct is it served Dinwiddie and Chesterfield County on both sides as a beautiful recreational and aesthetic amenity, and has actually helped to even create continuing downflows down the Appomattox River, for which again that benefits those further downstream. And I will say it is an example of regional cooperation. The four peers of mine that we come together for these meetings, and we have back-to-back meetings for efficiency's sake. There's a lot of other issues that we address and try and resolve as part of those meetings. So it's a unique gathering of people. And again, just for clarification, the 18 inches, if I recall, would have taken, I think, the entire lake, if you will, from 9 billion gallons to 12 billion. And again, so as Mr. Wilson said, to the degree we start needing that extra capacity, sort of those needs are there. We also have tried to work with the people who have docks on the lake itself and being mindful of the height of the water and what the height of the dock needs to be. So if we did raise it 18 inches, that they are well aware of it. People around the docks themselves, to the degree that there's silt around there, they have the right to go through an ARWA-related process to remove the silt around their docks so that they don't have to extend their docks further necessarily into the lake. And so there's a lot of other rules and requirements of the lake of being a mindful, owner of the property around there, for which ARWA actually owns through old deeds written 50 plus years ago, certain height levels around the lake. So it takes a lot of effort to do that, and again, Mr. Wilson and his team do a very good job with it. So I just wanted to thank him for that.